Ford's recently announced partnership with Tesla, allowing Ford vehicles access to most Tesla superchargers in North America, is really going to give the Ford F-150 Lightning a huge competitive advantage over GM and Dodge vehicles, particularly the upcoming Silverado and Ram electric pickup trucks. Today we are going to tell you why this agreement is really going to hurt GM and Stellantis, the parent company of Dodge. More than that, we're going to show you why as well. Before we dig in too deeply into how GM and Stellantis are now at a huge competitive disadvantage, I'd like to mention that Rivian also shares some of the same disadvantages, but it is not as bad for them for three reasons. First, Rivian did not design the R1T to be a traditional pickup truck, although in many ways it looks and acts like one. Rivian is more after a niche market for adventure travel, not farmers, ranchers, contractors, etc. While there is some overlap, since they are nailing down this niche market, their owners may be more willing to deal with the difficulties of the CCS charging infrastructure. Second, while in its infancy, Rivian is setting up their own charging network, including DC fast chargers, for just their vehicles. While they are few and far between for now, over time, this may help their owners with charging on road and off-road trips. Finally, because Rivian is a startup, and because they are not necessarily going after the same market as Ford, they may be more likely to follow Ford's lead and join up with the Tesla supercharger network. It seems it would be more difficult for GM and Stellantis to follow behind Ford, kind of like, oh, you did it, so now we need to do it too. They seem to be pretty independent and want to stand on their own, so I doubt that they would do that. For these reasons, I believe that Rivian is at much less of a disadvantage than GM and Dodge. Before we get into more detail about how this is going to really put the hurt on GM and Dodge, let's review a few key parts of the Ford-Tesla agreement. Beginning in early 2024, all Ford electric vehicles will have access to most Tesla superchargers in North America. I do not have information yet about which ones it won't have access to, but the general thinking is that it will be the ones on the West Coast, particularly in California. They're the most busy with Tesla vehicles themselves. Current vehicles will access the Tesla supercharger network via an adapter. Again, details are somewhat sparse, but it is likely to cost around $100, and there is no word yet whether Ford will provide this or Ford owners will have to pay for it. Charging rates are to be competitive with other fast charging, and there should be plug and charge available through the Ford Blue Oval network. Basically, it will be the same experience a Tesla owner now has, except for the adapter. Starting in 2025, Ford EVs will come with a Tesla charging port already built into their vehicles. There's no word yet whether this will be in addition to the CCS or will replace it. We'll have to wait and find out more about that later. Finally, while the Tesla configuration is more compact, the new plug should still be able to support the Lightning's whole house intelligent backup power, as they have all the same pins, just in a more compact designs. There's two DC connectors, plus the AC connectors, plus the data connector, all in a much smaller, more manageable interface. While there may be some blind brand loyalty, let's imagine you are a new pickup buyer and are choosing between the Ford F-150 Lightning, Silverado, or eventual Ram EV. The Ford gives you access to over twice as many DC fast chargers, and oh yeah, they are by far, and I mean by far and away, the most reliable, easiest to use chargers. Why would you pick either of the other two brands? Some will say because the other brands are reportedly going to have greater range. That may be true, but greater range comes at a cost, usually a very high cost. The one thing about EVs is that they are very simple and have very similar components with very similar costs. Tesla may have some minor cost advantage with its in-house supply chain, and GM is reportedly trying to go the same route, but those differences are very minimal. So GM and Ram are going to have to charge more for the added capacity or lose more money on each vehicle they sell. It should be pointed out that currently no other brand than Tesla makes a profit on their vehicles, so continuing to lose more money seems like a bad plan. Either substantially higher costs to customers or substantially greater losses per vehicle are a huge competitive disadvantage. Moreover, large batteries weigh more, so there's a decreasing return on the amount you get by adding more battery and more cost and more weight. This is because a lot of that added battery capacity will be used to haul around the added weight that the larger battery requires. It's kind of a circular spiral thing where the more you add, the more it takes. So yes, that you can get greater range, but again, it is at an extreme cost. I suspect Ford's position is going to be, don't pay more for that added capacity and weight that reduces payload capacity. Go with 300 or so miles of range, knowing you can fast charge at over twice as many and more reliable locations as our competitor. The added number of superchargers is huge all by itself, but unless you currently drive a CCS vehicle on long road trips regularly, you cannot understand just how horrible the non-Tesla DC fast charging experience can be. Broken chargers, missing chargers, low power than indicated chargers, poor software, timing out before you can connect, timing out after you start charging, stop charging for any reason whatsoever. These are all frequent features of Electrify America and other non-Tesla DC fast charging stations. So today we are going to do a little comparison. We are driving to Fredonia, New York, one of the few locations that has a Tesla supercharger with a magic dock, which is the only way for a CCS vehicle to connect to it at this time. And right across the street is an Electrify America station. I've actually charged at this Electrify America station, and I can tell you that the one time I used it, of course I got an error reading saying that it was only at half capacity due to some network problem or something. I don't really remember the reason, but it took twice as long as it should have to charge. So we'll see if that's still the case. That was last summer. I doubt that that's still the case, but let's find out. And let's see how much easier the Tesla supercharger is, even with the magic dock, which takes a little fiddling around that you won't have when Tesla opens up their charging to Ford. The plan is to pull in to the DC fast charger. I think I'm gonna do the Tesla charger first, or at least go there first, see how busy it is. With exactly 20%, I'm gonna charge up to 80%. We're gonna see how long that takes. Then I'm gonna drive around to get back down to 20%, go to the Electrify America station right across the street, plug in there, see how long that takes. So that's the plan. Hopefully the station, particularly the Tesla station, isn't too crowded, because with the charge port location on the F-150 Lightning, I'm probably going to have to block 2 Tesla stalls to use the Tesla supercharger. Hopefully when they come out with the adapter, it has a long enough cord that we don't need to do that anymore. So let's see how it works. We have gotten off the New York State Thruway. I have 20% state of charge, which was my goal. I hope I still get there with still 20%. It's a little hard to guess from 100 some miles away how much to charge it to, how much you're going to use exactly to get to your stop with a specific percentage. There's certainly plenty, but you know, 19 or 21 is pretty close. So we're at 20 right now. I think it's right up here, right around the corner. So hopefully we'll still be at 20. I'm going to try the Tesla charger first. We'll see how that goes and see how the charging goes in. I've got the app up. I'm going to start the stopwatch when I pull up to the charger, because part of the problems, particularly with CCS, is all the fiddling around you have to do to get the thing to connect and load and work and do all that. So it's not just the charging speed itself. Part of the struggle is the connection too. So we're going to give this a try. There is absolutely nobody here, so we are going to go ahead and block a couple chargers because it's not going to affect anybody else. Pulling up to 3D here on the end. Let me go ahead and open the app. We are going to charge here. I said this was 3D. Unlock adapter. Push the handle, do that, plug in. That may take up to 2 minutes to charge. All right, that sounds fair. Let's go ahead and get to the stopwatch. Got the dock out, plugged in, started charging immediately. Even though the app says it may take up to 2 minutes, it was seconds, if anything, kind of just like with the Tesla. And it says it will take 37 minutes to go from 60% to go from 20 to 80%, 60% in 37 minutes. If that holds true, that bodes pretty well for charging on the road, both with the Tesla supercharger, what it puts out, and what the truck is taking. So let's see how that really does, but that would be good news indeed. So we're just gonna sit here. I started the stopwatch when I first got out of the truck because, as I said, part of the problem is, particularly with EVs, Electrify America, is getting the connection between the charger and the vehicle, getting the thing to release. Just any number of horrors can go wrong with Electrify America. But we'll see how long it takes from the time I get out of the truck until it is 80% in each case. So far it has been 5 minutes, 35 seconds. The way this station is laid out, I was able to pull past the end one, so I am blocking two. The one I'm using plus one other one, but that's all. So another Tesla could come here and be able to charge on 3B. So we're using one, blocking one. There are 12 here. Someone else just showed up, but otherwise there was no one here when I got here. There's just one other person here now. If it gets really crowded all of a sudden for some reason, I will move to a different location like that one over there, which is for trailers, so I left that open, but it might work if this place gets really busy, but I don't see that happening. Unfortunately, I am unaware of any way on the truck to see how much speed you're getting from the charger. When I use the Electrify America, the screen on there tells me how many kilowatts it's getting, but the Teslas obviously don't have that because there's no need for it because their cars show you. And I don't know of a way to have the lightning show me. If you're familiar with a way, please let me know in the comments. Thanks. So I did remember that on the mobile app, the Ford mobile app, you can see how fast you're charging. At 69% when I finally remembered to look, it was only getting 101 kilowatts. So that's not great. I was hoping for a little better than that. It's not horrible. We'll see how that compares with the Electrify America station later this afternoon. It has just reached 80%. It is 11:28. It took 38 minutes to go from 20 to 80%. Going to unhook now. Still no one else has come. Then we will go and drive, run this mileage off, come back at 20% to the Electrify America across the street. See how long that takes in comparison. We ran up and down the New York State Thruway so we could run off the extra 60% so we could come back to 20%. It's a little hard to get that exact, so again, I'm gonna come back, get it close, and then I may run up and down the side roads just to get to the very end, but going as fast as we can, getting down to 20%. Well, I have driven around in circles, literally, to get down to 20%, and I have finally done it. I'm at exactly 20%. Pulling into the Walmart and pulling up to the Electrify America chargers. I guess we'll find the fastest one. That seems to be the fairest test. I think that's gonna be this one. Very tight here. Yes, this is a 350, which is actually faster than the Tesla, which was a 250. Okay, we will start the stopwatch. No, we'll start the app first, then we'll start the stopwatch, and then we'll see how long it takes to get from 20 to 80%. App is open. Start the stopwatch. And I'm out. Well, this is a strange sight indeed. The thing started right up. Holy cow, that hardly ever works. Let's see what kind of speed we're gonna get here. Temperature is very similar to what it was. It's about 73, 74 degrees. Pretty much the same as it was this morning over at the Tesla charger. And we're going to continue. I will say this, 36 cents a kilowatt hour. The Tesla was 50 cents a kilowatt hour. So what is that, 30% more, something like that, 40% more? It's not quite double, but it's quite a bit more expensive at the Tesla. Although I have to say, if you need it, you'll take it. 160 kilowatts. So that's almost twice as fast as we were getting with the Tesla. So this should go really fast unless it slows down or times out. This might be the best charging I've ever had at an Electrify America charger. As well as this session is going, it may well be the best Electrify America charging session I've ever had. Equal to or maybe even faster than the Tesla. Another thing to note is most Electrify America charging stations have 4 chargers. Teslas, the minimum I think is 8. The one we were just at had 12. So this one's half full with just 2 cars here. Over there, at the highest peak, it was 2 out of 12, so there were still 10 available. Here there's only 2 available. So as more and more EVs hit the road, this may also become a problem at Electrify America stations. We are once again charged to 80%. It took 36 minutes and 38 seconds, so yes, it did do better than the Tesla. We're gonna go ahead and unhook and start heading for home. We'll have a few final thoughts. Well, at least one location, one day, one time, the Electrify America's charging was a better experience than the Tesla supercharging. Words I never thought I would ever have to say. Nevertheless, I believe if you asked 100 electric vehicle drivers with experience with both the Tesla supercharger network and the CCS Electrify America led non-Tesla supercharger network, and told them they could only pick one to use, which one would they pick? I believe 100 out of 100 drivers would pick the Tesla supercharger network, if for no other reason, because there are so many more of them and because they are more reliable. The good news for Ford drivers is they don't have to pick because they have access to everything. The bad news for Silverado and Ram drivers and future purchasers is they get stuck with the lesser network and don't have the option, and that's all they have. I can't see how that isn't a huge disadvantage to their sales. Well, that's my thoughts on the matter. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button. Please subscribe and please hit that bell button to be notified of our upcoming content. Thank you!